Good morning, everyone. You know, we're in trucking, so we love the smell of diesel in the morning. We love to be in a shop, and we're honored to have the Secretary Walsh with us and our governor from Pennsylvania. It's going to be a fun morning, and we're going to showcase what's going on. As you see, the truck to our right, Ed Thompson, the leader from Teamsters Local 776, is also with us. Thank you for the partnership in the driving academies. This is Yellow's 17th permanent driving academy and the first in the state of Pennsylvania. The next generation of professional truck drivers will be trained right here where you're standing this morning. And we've set a goal at Yellow to do 1,000 new professional drivers into our industry this year in 2022. It would not be possible without our partnership with the apprenticeship program through the U.S. Department of Labor. The administration's Trucking Action Plan wisely identified apprenticeship programs as a critical component of addressing the constraints with our nation's supply chain capacity. I'm proud to introduce you to my fellow truckers and show you how we at Yellow are addressing the nationwide driver shortage. I'm Darren Hawkins, CEO of Yellow, and I'd like to ask Darrell Harris, our president, to say a few words. Darrell.
Thank you, Darren, and good morning, everyone. I'm Darrell Harris, and I'm proud to be the president and Chief Operating Officer for Yellow, particularly on a day like today. You know, the nation is short 80,000 truck drivers, and right here in Pennsylvania, the trucking industry needs nearly 4,000 more drivers to make sure that from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia, people who call Pennsylvania home have what they need in their homes and their businesses. Just like Pennsylvania is a critical link for our nation's supply chain, it's also a critical component for our freight network here at Yellow. Pennsylvania is home to 11 of our freight terminals and 1,300 of our employees. And so as I look around here at our driver academy, I think about all of the people who will enter seeking a new opportunity to provide for their families. And so thanks for our partnership with the Department of Labor and Local 776, the gateway to a lifetime career, providing a good income and full family benefits is right here. Thank you so much. I'm going to introduce our VP of Safety and Recruiting, Tamara Jolly.
Thank you and good morning. Many of you know our top priority at Yellow is safety. It's a practice and it's a value, and it's something that we do every day, from our driver training programs and in the equipment that we use. This yellow tractor right here has all the latest safety technologies: automatic emergency braking, the lane departure warning, blind spot detection systems, video event recording systems that also support our professional driver development. But the most important asset in the cab of any truck is always the driver. All of the technology assists, the driver remains the most important asset. That's why we have invested significantly to certify many of our drivers as CDL certified safety trainers, harnessing the power of peer-to-peer training. Apprenticeship graduates who graduate from this CDL Academy, from here as well as any of our other 16 academies across the network, receive their training from these Yellow drivers, these Yellow professional drivers. Throughout their careers, they have demonstrated safety in all they do. They are champions of safety. Our certified safety trainers are the best of the best, and I can't think of anybody better to train the next generation of CDL truck drivers. Darren, I think you wanted to go next.
Thank you. Thank you, Tamara. It's my pleasure to introduce Governor Tom Wolf. The governor has worked closely with the administration to implement the recently passed Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act so that Pennsylvania can work now to upgrade its road and bridge network. More than 85% of Pennsylvania communities depend exclusively on trucks to move their goods, so this is a wise investment for the Pennsylvania economy. And also, now that I've had some time to get to know the governor a little better, he's been in the cab of a tractor, and also he learned to drive in the days of the manual transmission like many people in the room. So, as an honorary trucker this morning, we welcome the governor. Please take off.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Darren. And Secretary Walsh, welcome to Pennsylvania. It's a little cold today, but spring, and this is a promise, I'm not running for anything. Spring actually is here, okay, in Pennsylvania. But I am really pleased to be here today, just a few miles from my home, and celebrating what's going on here, which is the training and provision of skills that are going to be so important for the future of Pennsylvania, especially given what we're going to need with the Infrastructure Investment Act, the Jobs Act. That is creating a huge demand that we haven't had before for skills and talents that are being addressed in the training that we're going to see here, the apprenticeship program. And I think that's really important. I was telling Darren, my training to drive a CDL truck back in the 70s was simply driving around the block and avoiding any accidents. And that was what qualified me to drive a CDL-sized truck. Obviously, that's no longer the case. I'm not sure I could qualify under the circumstances today, have to do what you have to do. And I think it's important that we have come a long way in trucking. It's really important what you do, and I want to make sure that we continue everything in Pennsylvania so that you can continue to do this, and that the state, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, supports you in that. It's great to have the Secretary here. We're going to talk later. We're going to have a roundtable talking about how we can make our training programs even better. We have a big apprenticeship training program in the state, trying to coordinate things from our universities, our community colleges, our apprenticeship training programs with unions. We have a lot of capacity in Pennsylvania. We need to do a better job of coordinating that capacity, and I think what we're going to talk about today will help us do just that. So again, Secretary Walsh, welcome to Pennsylvania. Darren, Darrell, thank you for being here, and thank you for everything that you're doing. Now I'll turn it back to you, Darren.
Thank you, Governor. You know, at Yellow, we like to say, and we mean, truckers are heroes. You showed up during an unprecedented pandemic and got America what it needed, when it needed it. In times when people were sheltering at home, you were out on the interstate, you were out in the communities, you were in the rural areas, showing up and bringing people what they need. You are heroes. The room is filled with those trucker heroes this morning, but we happen to have two on the stage with us. The first is Steve Fields, 3.5 million safe miles of driving over a long career. I think I might have heard the Secretary say he wants to ride around in the truck all the time now. But Steve, we can't give you up just yet. Another hero on the stage, Esther, if you could step forward. So Esther, many times you meet Yellow employees. How many Yellow employees in the room have been with us over 20 years? Including me. Esther's been with us 4 years. Esther is a line haul driver. Before joining us, she worked in an office for 20 years, and as a single mom, and like many of us, when she had those children that were entering college, Esther said, hey, this office job's not going to get it. I've got to do something bigger. I've got to do something for my family. And Esther chose to pursue a driving career. And the company she landed at was Yellow. And Yellow, with Esther as a line haul driver, moved her into the middle class where that she could provide for her 2 sons going into college and do what the American dream's all about and be the pathway to the middle class. So I know of no better trucker hero at Yellow to introduce the Secretary than Esther. So Esther, please come and introduce Secretary Walsh.
Darren, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 29th United States Secretary of Labor, Marty Walsh. Secretary Walsh.
Thanks, Esther. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Esther, and thank you for your choice in this career. It's great. I'm going to talk more about Teamsters in a second, truck drivers in a second. I want to thank Steve, who drove me over here. I got a little jealous. I actually wanted to go behind the wheel of the truck and drive it. You know, it's pretty cool. I was telling Steve on the way down here, when I was a kid, I grew up in Boston, and my next door neighbor he drove a tractor trailer across country, and I went on a trip with him. I was a teenager at some point, and I was saying the seats in the passenger seat got a lot more comfortable, because back then the driver's seat was moving up and down. The passenger seat stayed, if you remember driving years ago, it didn't move. And I don't know where we went to, but it was pounding on the body. But I want to thank Steve as well for his work. And I want to give a shout out to all the drivers, all the Teamsters here today. Thank you for your work. I know the governor thanked you for being essential employees during a very difficult time. But thank you for being in this career, whether you're in this career 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, 4 years, or you're brand new in this industry. This is an important industry. Your career, your profession, you should be proud of your work. And at the White House, the president pulled together a group of people not too long ago. Darrell was there, and the company Yellow was front and center. And we talked about, they kept talking about the industry, truck driving, how it used to be a great profession, how it used to be something people wanted, how it used to be what we wanted to do. And to some degree, I took a little offense to that. Because it's not a bad profession. It's still a great profession. It's still an opportunity for people to put food on the table, roof over their head, maybe a car, a pickup truck on the driveway, whatever you have. So I just want to give a shout out to all the Teamsters, all the drivers here, and the staff at Yellow who support the drivers for the great work you do. So thank you for that. I want to thank the governor. I've had a chance to work with the governor on a whole bunch of different issues. He's a great man. He's a good man. I want to thank the governor for his support. I want to thank Darren and Darrell and Taryn for your great work here at Yellow, for being part of not just the supply chain, but for doing so much to grow opportunities in this country for people. So thank you for that as well. And thank you for the safety recognition that you have front and center. I truly appreciate it. To Ed and everyone at Teamsters Local 776, thank you, Local 776. I was saying on the way in when I met the drivers, I'm a proud member of Labor's Local 223 in Boston. My union book's in my pocket, my dues are paid. And I'm not going to run away from being a union member. I'm proud of that because that union job gave my father, an immigrant, an opportunity to join the middle class. That union job gave me the opportunity to get into the building trades. That opportunity gave me the chance to run for state representative, get an education, run the building trades in Boston, run for mayor of Boston, and now become Secretary of Labor. And I'm never going to run away from that as Secretary of Labor as a person. So I want to thank all of my brothers and sisters that are here today. It's an honor to celebrate such an amazing accomplishment, the opening of Yellow's Corp's 17th CDL Training Academy. As you heard, these academies are producing some of the safest, most skilled drivers on the road today, and certainly you're adding to strengthen our supply chain and creating that opportunity. You're providing access to good jobs, good careers for hundreds of people every single year, in this class 1,000 people, and we're strengthening our workforce all across this country. I'm proud that all 17 academies are registered with the Department of Labor's Office of Apprenticeship. I'd be remiss, I should have done this in the beginning. I want to thank the DOL, my team from Department of Labor's here, and a lot of times we don't get the headlines. Other secretary departments get the headlines, but the folks that I work with every single day are expanding registered apprenticeships and making sure job sites are safe, making sure we're creating better opportunities and more pathways. So I want to thank the DOL staff that's here today. I'm grateful to be here today that you're providing trucking in an industry in the power of apprenticeship and how that's going to really transform lives. Apprenticeships work. Oftentimes we talk about apprenticeships and people don't fully understand what they are. Apprenticeships are for younger and older workers. Apprenticeships give somebody a pathway into a career. Apprenticeships for veterans with skills that they learned in the service. When we talked about supply chain in the very beginning, in the last 5 years alone, 70,000 servicemen and women left the service, retired from the service, with a CDL Class A or Class B license. So they already have the expertise that they need. We want to be able to continue to make sure we create that pathway, that transition from the service into a good paying job. For women, for people of color, and anyone who faces barriers to opportunity, we need to create pathways in this industry to allow people to get into the industry that have an opportunity to get their family into the middle class. It opens doors to the middle class. President Biden talks a lot about the economy. He talks about the middle class out and the bottom up. What he means by that is the people that are in the middle class, and Teamster Local 877, your membership is in the middle class or heading towards the middle class. How do we grow that and expand that? And how do we create opportunities for the people in the bottom that haven't had a chance to get into the middle class? How do we get that opportunity? Because the country, we talked years ago about trickle-down economy, and we're supposed to start up here and trickle all the way down to people. Well, it didn't trickle too far. It got to about the 2 or 3%. Didn't really, maybe we got a couple drops beyond that, but it didn't trickle down. And creating that, apprenticeships allows that opportunity. Apprenticeships works for employers. Yellow will tell you, it's a smart investment. You're training folks for jobs that are open. You have a 92% retention rate here in this company. And that's why this program is a model for other employers to adopt all across America. That's why this administration, the Biden-Harris administration, is investing in apprenticeships, and we're supporting apprenticeships. The president is delivering on a historic recovery. 7.4 million jobs have been created since President Biden got sworn in as president. Unemployment's at a 50-year low. Now we're making historic investments in infrastructure. Nobody knows it better than the drivers that are in this room. The roads and the bridges, the ports, the truck drivers depend on to do their job safely and efficiently. In a lot of places, it's crumbling. We're investing in supply chain and manufacturing. We want to make goods in America, to move more goods in America from point A to point B. We're investing in working people. You're seeing the investments all across the board about how do we make investments here. Back in December, the president put together the White House with the Department of Labor, Department of Transportation, launched something called the 90-Day Apprentice Challenge. It's a key part of the president's trucking plan. And by the way, the president wants not just truckers, he wants good truckers. And in probably a lot of cases, I don't want to use his words, probably a lot of good union truckers too, because he talks about it all the time. In 90 days, over 700 organizations all across this country took up the challenge and reached out to us about pre-apprenticeships. And 99 employers have delivered and have already launched new pre-apprenticeship programs within their company. Your success will have an impact beyond trucking. Everywhere I go in this country, I hear from employers that they're having a hard time finding good qualified workers for their industry. I say to them, we have a solution. Come talk to us at the Department of Labor. I can point to programs like we're doing right now today. 90 days ago, we started having a conversation. 90 days later, I'm here today, and your president and your leadership of this company is talking about expanding apprenticeships here in this company. It works. We need to continue to work. We need to continue to create talent in the pipeline. We need to continue to reach out to give people opportunities for this great industry of trucking. So I'd like to thank everyone again for part of the success. Yellow Corp and the Teamsters for their commitment and partnership. As I walked in today, I saw the pride on your faces out there. You should be proud of your profession. You should be very proud of what you do. This last 2 years have been brutal. But as we walked in, Steve was talking about that truck that just drove by might be loaded with paper towel. And you don't realize we didn't think about the importance of paper towel and wipes and gloves and masks until 2 years ago right now. 2 years ago right now, we were in the beginning of a pandemic. We had no idea what was going on. 2 years ago right now, we were running to supermarkets, buying every bit of cleaning product we could possibly buy. You, the drivers in this room and the drivers across this country, are the people that helped stock those shelves. You were the people that worked at the grocery stores, who do at the checkout lines. No one complained about their job. They weren't not showing up to work. They were going to work every single day. So I want to say thank you for that. Drivers keep our economy going. Truck drivers in our country keep our economy going. Without you, we don't have an economy. So thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today. I am honored, truly honored to be in a room with so many drivers, so many folks from Yellow in this company here, so committed. And to the governor, I want to thank the governor for allowing me to be here this morning. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Secretary Walsh, and we're going to do the ribbon cutting ceremony. And all I can say to the Secretary's comments this morning is amen.
Come on in, don't be shy. Get in. Come on, we're all turning sideways. Come on, go. Don't let the cuts in right. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Hey. Come on, go.
Okay, go ahead, guys. Okay, so just coming here to see an initiative like this, when we are seeing such a big, decrease in the amount of drivers that are in the industry and in the pipeline, what do you think about this idea of growing your own to fill that pipeline of CDL drivers?
I think it's important. There are drivers out there. What we have to do is find them now, get them into a training facility in a company like Yellow that can come here and get the education they need to be on the road. As I mentioned earlier, 70,000 servicemen and women left the service in the last 5 years. Many of those are they're still looking for work, so we have opportunities. And, the trucking industry and truck driving, I was talking to Steve, and Steve's a 25-year employee here at Yellow, did about 11 years before that, raised a family, has a granddaughter. So like, these are good paying jobs that are good jobs, and there's no reason why we don't continue to. We need to make investments and make people aware these are the reality of the situation for the jobs.
Secretary, can these type of programs be replicated? Yellow is a big company nationwide, but can this be done on a smaller scale for companies that may have not thousands of trucks, but 5, 8, 10, a dozen or so?
Yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, I think a lot of the companies will copy what Yellow's doing, and Yellow came to the table and helping other companies create opportunities and pipelines. There's no question it can happen. I think that when you think about, though, you can't compare Yellow to a 5-person trucking company, because you're talking about the technology and the ability to buy new trucks and all of that's different. But certainly with the support of the federal government, we're making investments in the pre-apprenticeship programs, working with the Teamsters Union, working with the independent truckers, working with everyone, we can continue to build those industries. I think one of the biggest concerns that was brought up at the table is independent truck drivers not being treated fairly. And the independent truckers brought this up when we met, was that some of these truck drivers have lost their ability to earn revenue. So we need to make sure that there's a good, strong pipeline and that they're compensated fairly.
I just on that, I think places like Pennsylvania, we've worked with our universities, community colleges. We have an apprenticeship office in the Department of Labor and Industry here in Pennsylvania that's really designed to actually allow independents and small companies to have access to the same kind of training that a big company like Yellow can provide its employees.
The question for Yellow would be just what are the requirements to become a part of this program, and also what type of pay can they expect? Not just something that would raise a family, but do you have any number?
Yeah, the terrific thing about the program is it is earn while you learn. So you actually have a job while you're going through the program, and it doesn't put you in a hardship during that time like many other truck driving opportunities do. So this program and broadening it even beyond Yellow from an industry perspective, it's crucial that we're not playing musical chairs with drivers across different companies, that we're introducing a whole new audience of people and another new generation into the driving occupation, so that we're cutting down on the deficit of the overall need in the United States around truck drivers.
You've had successes with attracting women, such as Esther, who was up on stage and introduced you, Mr. Secretary. What are you going to be doing to encourage more women, more underrepresented, more people of color to get them into the industry? You mentioned that, Mr. Secretary. What can you do?
Well, we're proud, and what incredible timing that a Yellow driver, Peggy Arnold, was just recognized as the Women in Trucking Driver of the Year a couple of days ago. So no better way than getting the word out. Trucking is a great occupation for women, and the training and our apprenticeship programs are ideal for women. We've got several great examples here today, but also as you see these trailers going down the road, they're moving billboards, and you're going to see Yellow launch a campaign around women in trucking with the trailer wraps on our trailers so that we can introduce this to many. And the bottom line is us speaking up and letting women know that this is a great pathway to a wonderful career.
We'll do one more question.
Mr. Secretary, I just wanted to follow up on that about the idea of getting more women into the industry and also getting more people who are in underrepresented sectors of the community, whether they be African American or Latino. What's your thoughts on that, sir?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the history of unemployment numbers, the African American community has always been doubled out of the white community. Women have always been kind of stereotyped of working in certain industries. When you think about what this administration, what President Biden and Vice President Harris are talking about, whether it's trucking or construction, traditionally male-dominated employment, we're changing that narrative. I mean, when you think about it, one of the conversations we had when we had the initial meeting at the White House about trucking was, and we had a female rep from the trucking industry there talking about the safety record of women is much higher than that of men, creating opportunities and pathways. So we are focused at the Department of Labor of really, I don't like using the word underrepresented, but communities that historically have not had the opportunity to get into good paying middle class jobs, whether it's trucking or construction or other areas. We're focused on that, reaching out to communities. I know the governor here, many of his cities in the state here are focused on apprenticeship programs too to increase diversity and gender diversity in industry. Many people are talking about it on a national level. So we're working at the federal government, from the president down through the governors, to the mayors, really increasing opportunities.
Okay, thank you all so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you. saw you, Larry, walking in with the camera right off the bat. You're a driver? Yes. And a photographer. I like it. Huh? We're local? Yep. So, okay, nice. Okay, I'm only over 223. Awesome. Thanks for everything. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Skills, talents that are being addressed in training. We're going to see here the apprenticeship program, and I think that's really important. I was telling Darren my set of these was simply driving around the block and avoiding any accidents. In case I'm not sure I could qualify under the circumstances today. Have to do what you have to do. And I think it's important that we have come a long way in trucking, continue to do this, and that the state, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, supports you in that. It's great to have the Secretary here.
Sure, come on. Is that what they're not going to do a dock walk? Thank you very much.
They're going to do a dock walk.
Thank you, thank you.
Stay in the game from any angle with our stadium-style Jumbotron. Come place your bets at the largest Barstool Sportsbook in PA or anywhere on the Barstool app. Radio signal from another world. WRTV Harrisburg, an iHeartRadio station. Available everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one. An hour of commercial-free real-run variety starts now. Home of the no-review or
If I can help you.
Rare opportunity for all of our local employees here in Harrisburg. I don't know of a better way to kick off our 17th being here, participating. And this is an opportunity too, on this roundtable that the Secretary and the Governor will lead, is for everyone to have some input on how we bring more women into these occupations. That's a benefit to everyone, but also how we introduce a broader audience to the overall industry, which is an opportunity that we can partner with government on specific programs that having Academy in partnership with Teamsters works. We put all that together, we can increase them in really strong jobs that have full health care coverage and strong pensions. So that is what we're here to talk about and grow. At this point, I'll turn it over to the Secretary, the Governor, and then everyone. I encourage you to speak up. I've been in.
We were shutting everything down. You know, we weren't going to work. We didn't know what was going on. People were dying. People getting sick. Ventilators. We were talking about ventilators on the pier. People, you know, it was in the beginning days of COVID, and a lot of uncertainty. And you know, as we get through the pandemic, as we get beyond the pandemic, we're dealing with a lot of issues that were probably always there, but we didn't really pay attention to supply chain solutions, how we move forward. And the sense of urgency really benefited us in the city of Boston during the pandemic, and even before that. Being in the federal government, it's a little different, but we have a crisis in front of us. We have a crisis.